It's Chris the Cop.
Chris the Cop.
It's Chris the Cop.
Chris the Cop here. Welcome back.
Welcome back. I'm with Gamology, and today we're doing something special.
Okay, what I already love from this player is the light discipline. I don't know if this is just a gamer playing or this is somebody who has military or law enforcement experience, but that's one of my pet peeves when people play various tactical games like this is they always have their flashlight on. I try to play as realistically as possible myself, but with this, as you can see, the player, what they're doing is they're just doing some spot checks, and that's in reality what you do. The person who has the lead is going to be utilizing your flashlight, because anyone behind you, if they use their flashlight, they're going to be silhouetting the person in front of them, and we definitely don't want to do that. So I love the way this is already starting off.
I got footsteps on the other
Door,
side.
door.
One of the things that some of the community has been complaining about with Ready or Not is how fast the AI is at shooting you. You could have played this actual scenario a little bit differently. I probably would have kept someone long on that door that opened up initially, letting 2 or 3 members take this room. But once again, I would love to have seen someone long on that one, but I think we have some veterans playing this based upon how they're moving and what they're saying. I love the use of the shield.
Hold out here, strong wall. Come out in strong wall.
Yeah, so they have a couple of threats. They got the threat to the right, they got this threat here, and obviously we're only getting one perspective from this player right here, so I don't know what's going off to the right if they got someone long, because the one thing I know about Ready or Not is the AI suspects will come around the corner. They'll backtrack on you.
We got it.
Now, in reality, since the guy that has that shield right there, he would really be in the front. I mean, he's the one that has that shield. He has the protection. He should be leading us.
Rear, contact rear.
Yeah, see?
We good? Hold what you got. Hold what. Right side, work parallel. Rain, actually, hook him.
Now, just so you know, this is just one tactic that could be utilized.
Yeah, I see him.
Right.
Late.
No,
Contact is in custody.
Swing it.
And the one thing I like about this game, they let you have light sticks. I think each person has 10, so it is nice to have that to let you know, number one, the room you've been in, and number two, it adds some additional light, especially if you have that light discipline going on.
Watch that window if
Got
you're stacked
footsteps
left.
inside.
Okay, I do want to talk about this part, lockpicking. Contrary to popular belief of developers when they make games like this, like SWAT 4, Ready or Not, I don't know of how many teams actually have a lockpicker on the team. In my experience, I just found it takes too long to get through a lock. Hence the reason why we take in breaching tools. We got, rams, we got picks, all those various different things. So in that situation, I think we're just going to go ahead and ram the door and get into it. I cannot recall one incident where we actually picked a lock.
All right,
Okay, good. Okay, so this is awesome tactic. He plugged the hole with the shield. Perfect, good tactic. Now it's going to allow everyone behind that shield to go ahead and deal with either the suspect or the hostage, whoever this person is, effectively while he deals with that threat for us.
Stairs left, careful.
Down on your knees.
Taking it.
Give him a.
So imagine what they're doing right now in a real SWAT scenario without flashbangs. Think about that. That's exactly how we would be doing this. No flashbangs, despite the size of this room. So just think about that, the realism between what really happens and what we get to do in gameplay. And actually, even in Hollywood and TV. TV and film gets SWAT so wrong, it's not even funny.
There's a body over here. Did he run?
Police, hands up. See him.
Take it.
Arms out.
It looked like he got hit based on his screen. I really can't tell. However, that's where trust comes into play in real life scenario. You have operators that are going to be responsible going left, and you're going to have operators that are responsible going right, like in our player. He went right. He went for the person that was down on his knees.
That right with you.
Nice filling in the gap. Love it. You see how they're playing? The guy in the front on the left is using the flashlight, not the guy in the middle. Love it.
Guys, make sure they don't pull a gun.
That's the other part about Ready or Not. They can pull a gun on you, so you definitely want to get them detained ASAP. So at this point in time, what they're doing is, in the law enforcement world, we call these secondaries. We think the scenario is over, but there could be possible things that we're missing. So everyone's responsible to conduct secondaries, and we're going to go through the entire area very methodically to make sure we didn't miss anything.
It's that runner.
Yeah, see, they got the same problem that I had.
You guys know. Oh, I got him. Gun.
Yeah. Now, I thought somewhere around here that they did not deal with a certain door. No, they got this room.
Honestly, yeah. Oh, gun. Jesus fuck.
There we go.
Where are these guys coming from, dude? Oh my god.
Please, you gotta save my little girl. Wait. You're sending an android?
All right, ma'am. You need to go.
You can't do that. Why aren't you sending a real person?
So what's interesting about this is that as you look at this, there is a strong possibility that this is a type of technology that we may see in the future due to the fact that most of our homes now have some type of, smart device via Alexa, Siri, that type of thing. A lot of our homes, I know like my house, we have about 4 internal cameras. So if those cameras are recording, and I think in the future they probably will be, we're gonna see probably a lot more reconstruction of stuff happening given the fact that our world is now becoming more digitalized and every place you go there's a camera around. So I even think this type of technology will be available to just regular law enforcement in the near future. Walk around. So we have a hostage. So one of the things I'm going to want to know as a real police officer is why this hostage? Oh, okay. There's our motive. 63%. What the hell just happened? Oh, shit. All right, we're going to have to go in.
What the?
All right, we're going. Okay.
Any closer or I'll jump!
Oh, that's not a good situation at all. See, here's a part. Oh. Man,
Hi, Daniel.
can't pause.
My name is Connor. How do you know my name? Are you armed?
Lie, we're gonna lie.
No. I don't have a gun. You're lying. I know you have a gun. I'm telling you the truth, Daniel. I came here unarmed.
Possible cause, MNU. Oh, let's go. I don't know what to do. Oh, you're defective. I don't think I wanted to prove that one. Oh, I dropped down to 50? Oh crap, he's starting to get bad. Okay, I can't move any closer. I would love to close the ground between him and I, but I can't. Oh, it's letting me do it slowly. Oh, yes. Oh, they lied to him.
Don't move.
I just love this game as far as this, well, the whole story, but it's so epic.
Ghost, you're alive.
Affirmative.
And what I love about this game too is it's just so Hollywood. I mean, it's like everything is just like so epic and over the top. But what I say is that, yeah, that's how we do our tactical planning. Is we get our magazines out of our pouches and throw a bunch of bullets on the map and no, it's not. The one thing the game does not capture is the amount of weight that this gear weighs. I never knew how much I weighed with all my gear on, my full kit, what we call full kit. So I weighed myself one time and I found out my kit was 60 pounds. There are operators who have to carry a lot more equipment than I ever did, and I can only imagine their kit being probably about a good 75 to 80 pounds of extra weight. I'd have to really see the distance. I don't know if that's a shot you would take from that distance and with that gun. In fact, I wasn't even paying attention to if it was a sniper gun. That's definitely what you're going to want to have as a sniper. A sniper rifle would be able to take someone out at that distance for sure. But the thing is, too, is that a lot of snipers are specially trained. They do a lot of special training. A prime example is the snipers that were attached to my team. They would train with the SWAT team, but then they have their own training day where all they would do was sniper stuff. So that's the big difference, is that they're ready for this stuff, and the stuff I would see them do was this phenomenal. I mean, these guys would put a target on the balloon and then shoot it in the air, even with the balloon and the wind moving. It was like, wow. I mean, these guys can shoot.
Yusuf, check fire up top. Keep us quiet. Aye. Up. Copy. Behind you.
So like this type of mission, I would definitely make sure that, you know, we'd all have to make sure we have suppressors, because you want to be as quiet as possible. The thing with the suppressor does, it doesn't take away all the sound, it just minimizes the sound quite a bit, so it's not as loud. But if you were near someone that was, you know, firing, you would definitely hear it. Now, even though I have not played this mission yet, this is what I can guarantee you ahead of time, that as quiet as they are right now, this is going to get very loud, and it's going to be the run for their lives, because that's how these devs build these missions. It's like, start off very quiet, it gets chaotic, and then it is the loud exit. So let's see if that happens in this. I'm going to be very curious to see if that happens. Oh my God, so violent. I thought they were actually going to knock him out, but they didn't. And see, here we go. Here's the loud. Everyone knows we're here now. Yeah, that's what I like too about this, is that if you burn through a magazine like that, it's that fast. You can actually, in 3 seconds, you've already burned through a 30-round magazine. So that part is, you know, really realistic as well. And the one thing too about especially special ops is that they've trained so well. They're great on shooting on the move, and just this what they can do regarding their missions is just phenomenal. That's why you always see these things where you hear these stories where 4 or 5 operators who were able to take out, you know, a significant force. I mean, that just goes based upon their training and the equipment that they're carrying. It's just phenomenal to when you hear about stories like that. Oh yeah, a little grenade launcher. Now, we actually, in law enforcement, use something like that, but not with grenades. With what we call a 40mm grenade, actually, and it's just a foam projectile that you can shoot at a suspect who's not compliant. It really knocks the wind out of them. But that's considered a multi-launcher. Those are definitely used in civilian law enforcement. Their gameplay is not bad. I mean, a lot better than my gameplay would be.
Police, freeze! Get your hands up now! Get down on the ground!
They finally are going to go after that van, and the guys jump out of it, and they're not cooperating. That's one of the first alerts that I get, is that you have a group of people not getting down to the ground, as well as civilians getting in your way.
Get down on the ground!
Obviously, the gameplay is supposed to move forward, and the van's supposed to take off with the exploding, causing, you know, the terrorist attack. When people sometimes are Monday night quarterbacking these real-life events of why are the police or the military, you know, they're putting these people down fast, is because they have the potential of causing harm. If they're on the ground, handcuffed or zip-tied, they're not a threat. We want to get them down to the ground to reduce the, you know, the possibility of anything else happening. As we see here, they're distracted, the van takes off, explodes, and then we have the firefight. Pretty intense, as far as, you know, that it looked like we only had a small group, and then we have a firefight from all different types of angles. As we know, this is taking place in England, so a special team would have to be activated to come out that have the weapons, because regular, I think they're referred to as bobbies, but the regular police officers on the beat are not armed. The special unit comes out, and that would have to be activated, type of thing. So we probably would see more death and carnage until that team finally got there. When we look at the London Bridge incident, it was that elite team that finally got on scene that was able to neutralize those suspects. When there's multiple people to be rescued, there's not a lot of thought that goes into it. You just rescue who you can. It's quick second assessments that are happening. When it happens, when you're in the actual fight, and this is, I'll paint you a different picture, but when you're in actual fight, you're not thinking about what the aftermath of that's gonna look like. When things are all settled and it's all done, and now you're alone, that's when this replays back in your mind. Could you have done more? Should you have done more? Could you have saved that other person? I backtracked that to this, as I mentioned before, being a paramedic, I've been in this situation where I had multiple people shot, multiple people victims of a bad traffic accident, and because of my resources, I had to decide who was going to get those resources, who was going to get the air ambulance to the trauma center, who was going to go to the local hospital, which ones we weren't even going to look at because we had these people here. When you're in the middle of all that, you just do your job. But it's after, when you're home alone and there's no stimulus to keep your mind from starting to think about those things, that's when you start thinking about those people that you couldn't save and you wonder, could I have saved more? I've had a couple of colleagues that actually committed suicide, and on their suicide notes they said they could not deal with the screaming anymore. 2 of them put that, could not deal with the screaming anymore of the people they couldn't save. So that's where it plays out on this later on down the line. When you're in the middle of it, you're in the middle of it, but later on, when we're looking at this particular scene and everyone's running everywhere and there's this chaos and carnage everywhere, our rules of engagement still are in play. And you see it in the video at the end. Once peace has been restored, the main character even says, hey, these rules of engagement are not working for us. Yeah, you know what? That's just the way it is. There's been several incidents throughout the world where we have this actual scenario play out. We had, like I said, we had the London Bridge stabbing. Once they stabbed those few people and then they drove the van and the van crashed into the coffee shop, and then those people came out to try to help the people in the van, and all of a sudden they're being stabbed by the terrorists because they didn't realize the terrorists are in that van, and then the terrorists break off and start going through the neighborhoods of downtown London. Mass hysteria, carnage, people getting stabbed and they're dying. But if you are the heroes coming in, you gotta be sure you're neutralizing the right people, and that's why sometimes we have to wait for someone to shoot at us. We have to sometimes wait for that gun to come up. We got to see them, maybe if they're armed with a knife, that they're right about to actively hurt someone or hurt myself or my partners. Unfortunately, we have to react based upon the suspect's reaction, and we should hopefully not be hitting any of the civilians running around. Are they going to get in our way? Yes, but they're just doing what they have always done, trying to look for cover, trying to find that safe place. They're trying to look for officers in uniforms because they figure an officer in uniform is going to protect them. So they're going to be running around all over the place, and that's why we have to be sure that we are neutralizing the right people. In this scenario, we can see that someone has some type of vest on. It could be an explosive vest. We're going to assume it's an explosive vest, and they're asking for help.
Tell me I'm not one of them!
Here's the unfortunate part about our job, is that we are going to run in. If you go back to, and I would just go back to 9/11. When people were running out of the towers, you had groups of firefighters, police officers, and paramedics running into the towers. Obviously, no one had ever thought that the towers would collapse, but in the back of your mind, you know this can be it, especially when you have a situation like this. And it doesn't even have to be this large of a situation. Whenever I'm on duty and I'm with my officers and we're actually chasing somebody, in the back of my mind, it plays saying, this could be it. This could be the one. I may not be going home tonight. That's always in the back of anybody who's in public safety that deals with trying to rescue people like this. So we're gonna still go in. We're gonna try to clear those corners to make it as safe as it can be for us, and then deal with the situation once we get to the top. Whatever situation presents itself to us, we'll reevaluate and then decide what our next step is going to be. And as we see in our gameplay, we saw what the next step was going to be, and I don't know. That'd be a tough decision. I was actually thinking, why don't we just start grabbing all the hostages and bring them down the stairs? But obviously he thought a little bit differently. Maybe we would not have been able to rescue as many hostages. I didn't get a full 360-degree view of the room to count how many people were in this room, as well as did they have the inability to be able to get up and walk. That's going to also play into what we do in this particular situation.
Room is clear. Prep medical, we're coming up. Hey, everybody, stay calm. We're gonna get you out of here. You broken?